Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of The Overlay, a poker podcast. This is a special edition podcast. Wake up, sheeple. Poker is absolutely rigged. Just ask the guy who never wins with pocket aces. The button always wins. Dealers, secret agents for the chip leader. That one guy who always gets there on the river? What's that all about? Obvious plant from Big Poker? Trademark. Don't even get us started on RFID cards and the Illuminati run bad beat jackpot people. Today's episode is about poker conspiracies. What up, Brando?
That was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I was semi-impressed. I didn't know you were going to do that. And I was just sitting here kind of giggling on mute until you finished.
I love the idea of poker conspiracies because it's really revolves solely around the fact of this is just gossip that has gone on a game of telephone into the possibility of a world-renowned, notoriously infamous terrorist link to online poker, which we will get at the end of the episode. I'm not going to spoil it. Brandon, don't let me spoil it. That's as far as I'm going to spoil it, but I promise you have got to hear the Overlay's top conspiracy theory for poker players is absolutely freaking bananas. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ken and Brandon with The Overlay, a poker podcast, brought to you, as always, by CCG Poker, Chicagoland's #1 live charity poker experience. It's almost summer. It's May. The weather's starting to turn, right, Brando?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's great.
Summer in the air for poker players means we feel bad about playing poker inside. Like, we feel like we should be outside, and then it gets like to the hot part of the summer, and then we're like, ugh, I'm so glad I'm inside. And then it's
for sure. Yeah, May and June, you kind of like, man, I'm kind of a DJ. It's 74 outside.
Should be doing something outdoorsy.
Yeah, all the neighbors have been playing basketball for an hour. The 70-year-old's mowing his lawn, and I'm in my underwear playing online poker, getting ready to drive to a casino to play some more online or play some live poker.
Yeah.
You know, makes you think.
Who was I watching? And it kind of threw me for a loop and made me think about poker in a different way. Abby Merck. Is her handle like Poker Abby? I don't know.
It's like Abby Poker or Poker Abby. It's one of those two. Yeah.
She's awesome. She's great. I like her content. I think it's super fun and funny. And she was like in Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia or somewhere where they don't have online poker. And somebody's like, dude, you should play this free roll. It's at 3:00. And she's like, cool. Now I got to get to either Michigan, Pennsylvania, or wherever else poker's legal so she could play in this, like, WPT or WSOP online tournament. Just like hops on the train and from Philly to or wherever, gets to Pennsylvania. I guess she was going to Philadelphia to just check into a hotel and just rip some poker tournaments. I was like, yeah, that's kind of awesome. I've never experienced that type of
freedom.
Or weirdness in the sense where it's just like, I got to get on a train and go to a different state so that my IP address reads Pennsylvania so that I could play online poker. Seems one, kind of convoluted. Like, what kind of laws are we doing here? And two, also kind of awesome. Be like, oh shit, there's this really great thing on Full Tilt. Not that Full Tilt exists anymore. Back when Brandon and I were playing Full Tilt poker conspiracy theories, it was just like ripping that shit on. And they're like, I hope I can cash out, which sometimes did and sometimes didn't. It was awesome.
Right.
Poker conspiracies. We wanted to. I wrote this down so I can remember. Number one.
Wow, look at you. We got right into the episode.
Yeah, I want to get
a good introduction, and you wrote it down.
And I put a hook in there somewhere. I think it was called a hook. And I name dropped some famous people that we kind of know. Well, at least attest to the fact that they do know us. Right?
You're cooking. Just keep on going.
I've been watching a lot of TikToks on how to improve marketing. First conspiracy theory we're going to talk about revolves around just the dealer. All the things the dealer does. I liked in my thing in the earlier. Dealers, secret agents for the chip leader.
Yeah.
What else is people have a conspiracy theory that a particular dealer is like a black cloud of poker cards from that dealer. I won't play if Phyllis is going to be the dealer. Yes, sir.
And I mean, I can't tell you how many times on a weekly basis I hear, "Oh, X is coming in.
Oh, Billy's in."
I can't. I always do terrible with them. He changed the dealer. Oh, you're taking me off this table, and now my table's breaking, and I'm going to XYZ's table? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I never win. They always give me aces, and I lose. It's just, the mindset of the average poker player is willing to blame everybody else but themselves. And it is never their fault.
Never their fault. Anything you can find a way to blame somebody else, blame somebody else.
Oh, Palmer's wearing a black polo today. I only do good when he's wearing this blue one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it never ceases to amaze me that the amount of people that actually semi-believe, whether they believe it or not, they speak it out into the world to make other people think that they believe it, that it actually matters who is, doing the shuffle, riffle, shuffle, cut, and flinging the 18 cards around the table, and how, depending on who that person is as an individual, somehow matters into the type of cards you get. This is a little wild for me, but...
Well, it's so funny because I feel like in poker, the dealer, I'm not a blamer of dealers. I don't. However, I do feel that way about blackjack. I was just looking up in the movie Casino, 1995, great Martin Scorsese film. Have you seen Casino? No?
Nope.
Jesus Christ, Brandon. Fucking go home tonight and watch Casino. It's a great...
I'm already home. I'm home.
Okay, well, when you get off the podcast, watch it, because I'm going to quiz you on Friday, and you better have some of these answers. But anyways...
Good, I'll be in Florida, but okay.
Joe Pesci's playing, he's just getting bashed in on blackjack, just losing everything, and he's yelling at the dealer. It's a lady, and then she gets pulled out. The floor boss pulls. You could tell the situation's going south fast. He pulls the lady out, puts this other like short kind of ugly guy in. He's like, look who they brought in. He's like, how much? Or look who they sent in to rob me now. He's like, who's blank have you been kicking in? You doing great today, huh? That's why they sent you to me. It's like the perfect example of like, this is not we can't blame the dealer. I so want to blame the dealer, but I think it's the least, it's the kindest way to come up with a conspiracy and use it to your advantage when it's all bullshit and it's bullshit. Be like, oh, I'm not going to tip the dealers because they had that guy in the longest and that guy's never very lucky for me,
For sure.
or whatever, It's not like they're bartenders making drinks and one bartender makes a really stiff vodka tonic and this guy makes a weak vodka tonic. And I want the guy who's making the stiff one because I'm going to get the same price, but I'm going to get more drunk off of it. That sounds great. Dealers have no effect whatsoever. Like, we'll get into the next part of our conspiracies, which is shuffling, but hand shuffle, like, what are they cutting it up so that they can make more? Like, that doesn't happen. They don't win any of the money that you're losing. What are they, especially in poker? They don't care who wins or who loses.
For sure.
In fact, half the time they're only rooting for the guy who may or may not, or gal, who is going to tip better.
Right.
So many times if I was dealing, I'd be like, I want this guy to win. I know he's going to rip up fat.
Please.
Greenberg. Come on, no diamond. Fuck! Diamond.
$1. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, nice hand, buddy.
And I have the same thing when I'm like watching, and the only time I really watch all-ins if it's like, there's like a floor call and I'll have to come over and like make sure it went according to plan. And then I always want to see, like, did it really affect the hand or did it not, or was it totally arbitrary or whatever? And I remember seeing it and something happened and I was like waiting to break a table or something. And one guy goes out and the other guy takes forever. Like 5 minutes, to the extent where I wanted to call clock and I never call clock, and I can't even call clock because I'm not even in the tournament, but I had invested so much time watching to see what was going to happen that I needed to figure out,
you're pot committed.
What is this guy going to do? And this finally calls, they flip him over, and it's ace jack versus king jack. And the guy with the ace jack is obviously the one with his tournament life in the line. He's just like, sigh of relief. That's such a mathematically ace jack versus king jack. What are we at, Brando? Pre-flop 80-20?
70-30.
Still 70-30? That seems so not right. Not suited?
That's right.
Shit, right. That's bad. This game is rigged. Conspiracy. And what you call it? Sure enough, in the window is king ball coming out. And I'm just like, every time that happens, I have the same response. I was like, God, this is a cruel game. It's just a cruel. Poker's a cruel mistress. Like, it's so not fair, and it's such a heartbreaking, awful, 99% of the times we just get beaten on and be like, thank you, sir, may I have another? And I love it. That's poker.
It is. It's like it's 99% luck, 1% skill, and then 99% skill, 1% luck, and you never know which hand is going to be which. And all you can do is get it in good, and be happy with the result.
And the thing with conspiracies and superstitions in general, and just bad beats, right? Like these all stem from bad beats. Like it's never a guy who wins with the shittier hand who puts on the bad beat and he's like, I think that dealer is cheating for me. Like nobody's ever said that.
Right. It's always
when you lose. Let me find an excuse as to why I have lost all my monies. Nope. No other reason.
And back to the dealer thing, it's like, sure, one dealer might shuffle better than the other dealer, where you got somebody like the casino trained few good cash game dealers that they're riffling like every other card, bang, bang, bang. It's like a perfect shuffle, where somebody else's might be a little more sloppy. But the cards are all like they're
still
never
randomized.
The deal. They're still random.
It's never enough to where they're not randomized, where you could actually card count or get an idea of a window of what may or may not, like that part. Even if it's never going to happen.
Even that's not the dealer cheating for you or against you.
He's just stupid.
It's just dumb. And then I kind of want to piggyback, because you made me think of it right when you were talking about piggyback the dealer situation to the hot seat situation. Let me get a seat change, or like somebody's
fucking
losing.
Seat changes piss me off so bad. I personally, I guess this is my superstition, so I guess it goes both ways. When I sit down at a table and I sit at seat 7, and I hate seat 7. I would like, me, I want to sit in the 1 or the 9. 9 is my absolute favorite seat. 1 is my next favorite seat. After that, I don't really care where else I sit in the table. It doesn't bother me. But my feeling is, like in a cash game, if I sit in the 4 seat, then that is my seat. I am locked into that seat until the game breaks or I leave. Either the game breaks or I break. There are no other there's nothing else is going to happen, because I am mortified or petrified or so frightened of moving to the 9 seat, and then whoever sits in the 4 seat bust me with quads versus a full house, or straight flush versus
that's a little bit
flush.
of
I said full blown. It's a not a conspiracy, but a superstition. I'm trying to make it sound better for myself, but like, I fully admit, like, that's me. But on the flip side, what you're saying is what? The exact opposite.
Oh, I'm just saying there's been like, seat 9. Like, there's been somebody who wants to move to seat 9, but then they're like, the people have been busting that seat left and right. And then somebody new will sit down in the dealer, like, you want that table seat changed to 9? And he's like, nah, that seat's been losing all night. I'll stay here. Like, even though they want to sit in the 9, because that's their comfortable spot.
Not a cold seat, or not a hot seat, a cold seat.
Well, both ways. Hot seat, cold seat.
Oh, I want to move to the 4 seat because that place is hot.
Right. Oh, this guy won 4,000 and he cashed out. Then the next guy said instantly tripled up, and now he's cashed out. And then I'm moving to that seat because it's the hot seat.
Or you hear things like that side of the table's hot, right? Like this side's hot and the other side's bad. Or
you guys got all the chips over there. You're gonna tip it over,
Right. Oh, the poker player dad jokes are the
poker
worst.
Player dad jokes. They really are.
There's nothing worse than a superstitious poker playing dad joke jackass.
I think my favorite one is when the guy calls him on the river and the guy shows King Jack for a pair of Kings Jack kicker, and the guy goes, "You play that shit," and then flips over the same hand.
Yeah, that's a surefire way to get punched by Ken in a poker room, because I don't care. I know security will be there quickly. I'm okay with it. I've been asked to leave many casinos, 2 to be exact. 1 in Philadelphia, which I'm pretty sure I'm still no longer allowed to go to. And I did rip cards up in the high limit area at the Aurora Hollywood Casino.
Nice. How'd that go?
Yeah, they asked me politely to leave. And then,
at least they were nice.
I also witnessed a player, I keep saying suspicious, a superstitious blackjack player who got caught embezzling millions of dollars and wrote a letter to his boss as in haha, screw you, I stole all your money and lost it playing blackjack. He was chucking chairs in the high limit area in Aurora. This is like 20 years ago. I was in my mid-20s. I don't do this shit anymore. But sure enough, I'm playing like $100 a hand. He's playing $2,500 a hand, all 7 spots at the table, gets a bad beat, whatever, just dealer screwed him on showing a 6 and rips out a 5-card Charlie 21, and he just started chucking the chairs, all of them. just throwing them, and nobody said bupkis, and I was like, are they gonna let him do that? And he's like, yeah, they are. He can do whatever he wants. And then he's just like, move to this table. And he just fucking moved to the next table. And everybody shuffled one to the left.
It is funny, though, because, as much we tolerate, the same thing goes for all businesses. You tolerate a slight bit more for the guy that's
spending the most
spending all the money.
Right.
Obviously, you're never going to, like, when the guy punches the dealer, you're going to draw the line somewhere.
There's a line.
But the line in the sand is a little bit.
It gets pushed back the better the customer you are. Right. The more profitable you are to the company, the more likely you are to get away with a little bit.
Just a little wiggle room.
Not a lot, but a little. Yeah. Anyways, that is poker conspiracy number 1, things that have to do with the dealer. And there are tons of them. With that, also, I'm going to do like a subcategory of unlucky dealers. Also, like an unlucky location. You just blanket like the entirety of like the VFW in Oak Lawn is unlucky. The Horseshoe in Southern Indiana, I will never go there again because it is unlucky.
Right.
Philadelphia, Mississippi, the Golden Moon, I will never go back there. Partly because the Indian Reservation Council asked Ken to not go back there. But short of that,
so 2 casinos and 1 Indian reservation.
Yeah, I was.
You just don't count that.
I didn't like that place, anyways. I thought they were all up. They were all against me. So I think. Do you have any spots that you find to be good or bad, luckier or unluckier?
Nah, I don't believe in any of that stuff.
Location wise, I don't. Dealer wise, I don't normally. I will think that there's a hot dealer, and I will use a dealer change as an excuse to leave when I'm up, right? Like if I'm playing, more like for blackjack. Like if I'm winning at blackjack and I've got a dealer and I'm just banging it, and it's like, all right, wash hands, new guys coming in. I'd be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm done. Whoop. I'm going to just, this is my cue to exit. So I use it more as like an excuse. But I never find one to be more lucky than the other. I try to make friends with every dealer, especially the ones that are kind of like surly and unfun are my favorite, because then I just keep going down the line of like trying to get them to participate in Ken's tomfoolery.
Demise, yeah.
One way or the other, it's a show. You know me at the casino, I like to put on a show.
For sure.
Rooms, locations, I don't have any of those. Okay, kind of what spawned this whole poker conspiracy episode
podcast idea
was about automatic shufflers. I'm going to let you take this one away because you're the expert when it comes to the casino poker rooms. I have not played in as much. Fire away, Brando.
So they all got the tech deck or the top. What's it called? Do you know what it's called? Tech deck too. I think
Shuffle
it's
Tech maybe or something.
I think it's tech deck.
Yeah,
I think it's tech deck.
Some kind of.
Anyways, so they got the automated shuffling system that is built into the tables, and they're plugged into the tables, and that also goes with the software of. It's connected to the Bravo Live software. It's all linked up together. So the conspiracy theory is that, the shuffler can shuffle. It counts all 52 cards. It can face the deck. It can tell you what card. If there's only 51 cards, it'll come up blinking 5 of hearts is missing or King of Diamonds is missing. So the conspiracy is, if the shuffler can, face a deck, if it can read all the cards, if it can tell you what card's missing, and it knows how many players are at the table, certainly it could set the deck to give out action to player A, seat 7, whatever.
So I gotta stop you for a
general.
second. Okay. I did not know that the casino table-mounted shuffling machines, automatic shufflers. I did not know that they could face a deck, meaning ace of spades, deuce of spades, 3 of spades, 4. I didn't know they could do that. I knew that if they were short a card, it would give an error message, but I didn't know it would give an error message saying
the new ones. They'll tell you what card it is.
How does it know that? So now at first I was like, this is a totally uncredible conspiracy. And as soon as you started rattling those things off, I immediately went, Well,
Well, that's what a conspiracy episode is, right? It's like you rattle off the evidence, and
it's like every good joke. It's got just a hint of truth behind it, right? Like there's a hint of truth here. Like logically,
I mean, you watch the Loose Change documentary, and it'll convince you to.
What is Loose Change?
Loose Change is the documentary about 9/11 and how the steel beams can't burn, and they give you all this stuff, and you're like, you know what? Like, it's totally right, you know.
And I will say,
you watch that 90-minute documentary, you walk out of there, you'll fight somebody that it's all an inside job, and they just provide whatever sort of evidence. You don't even know if it's true or not, but you leave that 90-minute documentary viewing fully convinced that everybody's in the wrong and you're right. I mean, that's what a conspiracy documentary does. That's what I'm here to convince you.
It's got to have just that little inkling
of truth. Just a little bit of truth.
Right.
There's got to be just enough morsels of things that get your brain going, man, if it could face a deck and it knows the cards, and it can do anything.
I'm not going to lie. At first, I thought this was totally like non-believable, and then as soon as you started saying the Shuffle Tech 2s or whatever the fuck they're called, the Deck Tech 2,
it might be Deckmate. It might be Deckmate. Whatever it is.
Well, it doesn't
matter.
The most popular brand. I don't want to be on. I don't want to be in trouble for them anyway, so let's just wear that off.
Whatever that popular brand is, whatever it's Deck.
But everybody uses it. It goes with Bravo. The software, right?
Yeah, it's all in there, connected and electronically connected.
They're like wildly expensive.
Yeah, I know. And they're like third party.
20 years ago,
if a shuffler's broken, they call the third party. Like they're just like.
I remember trying to get I'll just say an automatic shuffler. I don't remember the name of the brand or whatever it was, but it was whatever the casinos were using. This is pre-Horseshoe. This is like when I was still playing at Hollywood Casino, and it might have even been limit poker. And I remember like thinking, I want to try. This would be cool to like upgrade your basement game to make it cool, right? I don't know.
Right.
And I was like, how much could they be? $1,000, $2,000. They were like $40,000 a piece in 2008. Brando, inflation, 17 years later. What the hell is $40,000 in 2008? Is how much now?
I don't know. 54,000.
$4 million.
Seems like
it, right? But that's not it. This is not an official number. It's not what inflation does. Please don't let two economic majors confuse you on inflation in any way, shape, or form. Shufflers.
So anyway, back to the shufflers.
Do you believe there's a chance that this could be true? Maybe.
I don't.
Yeah,
no,
I was.
I don't either, but there's definitely people that do, and they do so much that they will pass for casinos because they use
play
a
home game or to a charity poker game or whatever the case may be, because they do not want the automatic shuffler.
Conventional thinking is, well, the human is the only one. The human dealer and the human players would be the ones that, they're a mechanic and can set the deck and they would be cheating. But now it's come to the technology where now the technology is so smart where we trust the humans because they're too much of an idiot to ever set the deck in front of everybody, which is really kind of true. And now we don't trust what's going on underneath the table because if that shuffler can do everything we said, then it can do anything it wants.
Right.
And who's to say that it's not? Because it would be mutually beneficial for the poker room / casino to give out hands that play larger pots, because then but then that breaks down because you wouldn't just want to have aces over kings all the time, because then the pots would be huge and the games would break. See, this is where you can always find cracks in the armor where they say, they can just rig it and give people good hands. Well, it's like, do they really want good hands? Because that's how like people lose all their money and don't come back.
Yeah, for me, it seems like there's no benefit to the casino, especially when it comes to poker, because it is not a house-backed game. The house has no reason to do that other than they just want the games to go, and nobody like that doesn't create like.
Okay, so what about this conspiracy that they just make sure that the bad beat doesn't get dealt, so that way the bad beat goes up higher, so then the room is busier and they can advertise it more.
I would say that hasn't, again, like every good conspiracy theory, there's an inkling of logic, an inkling of truth to that.
I
That would
kinda
go,
just thought of that on the
now I
spot.
understand what is their purpose. My always feeling is like, well, what's the reason for them to do it? It'd be like a billionaire robbing a bank. Well, what was his motivation for Batman to start robbing banks? It's stupid. Why would he do that? It's dumb. There's no reason for him to do that. Now, when you say, why would the casino want to rig the game in any way, shape, or form? That is a fair statement, you know.
But then again, really, can the shufflers say like, all right, we're gonna just shuffle them randomly, but no straight flushes and no quads?
And again, is that even possible?
For sure, that's what I'm saying. Like, who's in there typing in that code? Like, no 7, 8, 9, 10 jack of clubs, no quad deuces, but everything else is fine. Quads are fine. If it's not, that's where it kind of breaks down, and you're like, oh, what are we talking about here? Like, I'm sure the thing is randomly chucking the cards through there,
right?
And that's it.
I mean, again, in your life, how often does it happen with, straight flush versus a flush? I mean, I can think on my fingers how many times I've had, straight flushes and things of that nature. And I play a lot of poker, in general. I wouldn't say, like on the bottom end of like a monthly or weekly player. I don't play a ton. I mean, there are people at CCG that play, 10 times a month, that's one every 3 days. And then there's people that play every single day. Maybe they can say more, but just in general, think of all the hands that you've had. Like statistically, those hands are not supposed to happen. So, it's also, there's the inkling of truth that helps feed the conspiracy theory to make this right. It's hard. It's crazy.
But I guess what brought our awareness was like how many kind of people that were in our walls that like believed that, and it's kind of like they're a customer of ours because of that.
Right. And we made a running joke like, oh, ... And somebody else was like, oh, I totally fucking believe that. We're like, wait, what? Really?
Wait,
what? No way.
Like we were just kind of just talking that this guy's Luke. This guy's nuts. Like crazy.
He's fucking crazy.
And then you're just agreeing with him.
He's driving 2 hours past 4 casinos to come here to play this game because he's afraid of shufflers. That's nuts. Awesome. And thank you, but nuts. That's crazy.
But it just kind of like you don't really realize what people, not what their beliefs are and what they stand for, but like the reasons behind what they do. And you would never have guessed that that person would have said that to me that day, and it's just like, wow, really? Like that's,
and again, make it
why
so
you're
like
super regular,
like matter of fact, like
I'm never going back to one of those things.
Clearly, this is a very normal thing to say.
Yeah.
Golf is another sport where there's lots of superstitions and things that happen and turn into like these wild. Maybe not so much as conspiracies, but like kind of, yeah,
I agree.
It's fun. And again, I firmly believe I will not putt. I will not putt if your ball is in the hole. I firmly believe there's nothing that could back this up scientifically or, thermodynamics or anything. I will not putt. Like if you putt and hole out and your ball's in the hole, I will wait for you to remove the ball from the hole. Like I'm not going to putt until you go, because I believe that there's only room in the hole for one ball, and if your ball's in there, that means mine won't go in, so I won't putt. Sounds fucking crazy when you say it out loud.
It does, because I've watched you putt 3 balls at once and all of them go in the same hole.
Yeah, so like I know that doesn't count.
I know all those are practice balls. so I know for a fact that 3 balls can fit at the same time.
Yeah,
but you're right.
I do know that the actual record is 7. Seven balls is the most you can get at one time. You can't get more than 7. They physically start to affect the number. Like the 8th ball is harder to get in.
Yeah, it starts knocking it. Yeah, because there's just actually no.
I mean, you might be able to get 8 in there, but like if you're putting from 5 feet, like you're not going to get 8 in there. It ain't gonna.
Right, you're going to have to set the 8th one in there.
Yeah.
Hey, side note: did you know that the basketball rim is large enough for 2 basketballs to go through it?
Really? No.
Like side by side?
I did not know that.
I mean, that like makes you think that the rim's just huge. Like, how do they ever miss? Right, like there's enough room for 2 balls. It seems like the rim is just slightly bigger than the ball. You can fit 2 balls in there? How do they miss?
How do they miss? Speaking of basketball, let's move on to online poker. There's
let's because we can get into conspiracy theories about how the NBA is using magnets for the balls, and we don't want to go down that route. So let's just keep the poker.
I was not aware of that. Keep.
That's why the scoring's up, and you know why? That's why. That's why the scores are 140 to 130 when in the 90s they were 80 to 70. Because now they got magnets because they want more balls going because they want people to watch. Anyways, let's go on. Online poker.
We've gone from dealers being unlucky to shufflers shuffling incorrectly to maximize the amount of money that a casino can make. Well, let's switch over to everyone's favorite conspiracy theory. The first thing we think about when we think about is poker rigged or is there something wrong with the game? And it's online. Bing, 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 bing. Online wins for conspiracy. Super users and all kinds of shit.
We got, there's way more bad beats than online. Well, no, you play 7 times the hands an hour.
Yeah.
There's going to be
there's 7 times
bad beats.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that math just checks out. You got super users and that, everybody can see your cards.
Which again, there's an inkling of truth to that.
That has happened before.
Did happen, right. But
guys, especially for all you CCGers, and for all you guys that are grinding $1, $2, 50 cents a dollar, maybe even 2-4 online, and if you're nosebleeding playing 5-10, if a guy can see all your cards, he ain't playing in your game.
No,
he ain't gonna play at $1, $2 and sit with 200. If he's cheating the system, he's gonna go to 100, 200 and cheat the guy for 40,000, not 400. So even if there is a super user out there, he ain't playing against you. So there's that.
He ain't playing against you.
It's
true.
It's
true.
Yep.
It's true. He's not playing against us.
There's bots everywhere, and that the house puts in the bots just to, clear the guarantee. And again, there's some truth to that. There's been some bots that are found on ACR that, were literally just Russian bots that were made. But again, the house didn't put them in. That's a person using it. And again, does that illegitimize your poker game? Slightly, sure. But again, we're talking about an unregulated space here and weird times where the government won't step in and, regulate it. But if you went to WSOP.com, ggpoker.com, all the legal real sites, or you go overseas and play all that stuff, that stuff's all regulated. There's no bots in there. It's humans playing humans. It's 2025. They could weed out the bots. America's Card Room, not so great at that. But again, we're in America here, and it's all unregulated.
Those are not regulated. Or they're not regulated by
any sort of gaming board or commission.
Correct.
Or anything that will legitimize it and, spend the money to make sure that the product is 100% legit.
Right. Or there's somebody watching them, right? Like,
yeah.
There's not, in the wild west of online poker days, back in the Full Tilt, Poker Stars, Party Poker, Bodog Poker, all these websites.
Absolute
it
poker.
Is fun, absolute ultimate bet. I forgot that Doyle had a room. It was just called Doyle's Room, and I posted an article yesterday on the CCG Facebook page about Doyle had a room in the 70s at Silverhawk Casino in Las Vegas, and he called it the 10 Deuce, which I thought was a really cool name for a poker room. And I wonder why he didn't use it for the online version, like in the 2000s, before Black Friday.
Yeah.
I wonder why he chose to not continue to use that one. I always thought that would that's a great name. Don't you like 10 Deuce? The 10 Deuce Club?
I agree, but
it was the 10 Deuce Club.
To be able to use your first name and have everybody know that the room is his is kind of cool too.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
It's almost like Bono or Cher or something. Just right. Doyle.
They just know. Doyle's room. They just know who it is.
Know who it is. Yeah, it's kind of cool. If you said Phil's room, we'd be like Phil Ivey, Phil Hellmuth, Phil Galfond, Phil Locke, Phil Gordon, right. Phil Gordonowski, Phil whatever. We're missing them, but who cares? I got another one. That was fun. And I will admit, in my early days, seeing is that I was playing predominantly online poker from 13 to 21 when it shut down. The cash out curse. You ever heard of the cash out curse?
I've never cashed out, so I didn't have that. But go ahead. I'm sure
it was this conspiracy theory where, if you win a bunch of money, you shouldn't cash out because once you cash out, the poker room's going to punish you for cashing out, and then rig it so you lose hands, so then you have to put back the money that you just cashed out back on the site. So the rule was you should just never cash out unless you absolutely needed the money, and only cash out in small quantities. Like never win 5,000 in a tournament and cash out the 5,000. I mean, that's just a way to nuke your whole account. I mean, if I've ever heard of it.
You get red flagged, and now you're
right from this guy just cashed out 100% of what he just made.
Now there's something wrong with you. Yeah.
Now, yeah. The doom switch is what we like to call it. They flip on the doom switch.
That's funny.
Like, oh, Brandon's winning too much. Flip that doom switch on, and aces over king. Bang, king. The guy needs a straight flush to beat your quads. Bang,
straight flush.
It's all because you cashed out.
What a cruel game.
You got anything else? Because I mean, we can end with my,
We're getting close. Action flops is another one that the online poker rooms would give out specific action flops in the sense of if 3 players went all in and it was aces, kings, and like Jack 10 suited, that the Jack 10 flops an open-ended straight flush draw, and the queen flops a queen, and the ace has got the nut high diamonds, and it's 2 diamonds on board, so they're thinking, oh, I'm safe for this, and they create action or to get things moving or shaking, or what would be the reason?
That'd be correct. Yeah, like think of it like the conspiracy is like, well, they don't have any control over like what people do, but once people do their actions, they can create the flop. Like Ken's getting spicy with the 6-3 of clubs, and Brandon's in there with 4s, and then a guy's got kings. It would just come like 4-5 of clubs and a king, and it's like set over straight flush draw.
Right.
Where like they could create that flop based on what the people are doing.
Yeah.
Where I'm under the impression that every hand is like once the top card comes off the deck, the deck already knows, and this is live, and I thought it was the same online. The deck already knows what the flop, turn, and river is, right? Like that's not changing once all the cards are dealt out.
Right.
The first card's the burn, the second, third, and fourth are the flop, the fifth's the burn, the sixth the turn, seven's the burn, and the eighth's the river. And that's like set in stone no matter what happens.
Sure.
I was always under the impression that, the internet did the same thing. But there was people that are like, well, no, like they would let the pre-flop action happen, see which hands are hitting the flop, and then create a flop for those hands.
Again, the inkling is, well, what's their reason for it? Like they
and who's
got
behind that?
They already got the rake. Why would the algorithm or why would the random number generator randomly generate action flops for anything other than, like, is that good TV? I don't know. Does it make people? It doesn't make people want to play. That would be
if anything, it makes people not want to
play. Right? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. What's the inkling? Yeah. Right. What is the reasoning behind it? What would Poker Stars get an advantage from because of that? Seems like all bad things only.
Right. Nothing good. All right. I'm going to let you do it because you gave it to me and I've never heard of this before, and I think it's absolutely amazing. This is the top poker conspiracy rated by us in general.
Us.
It's amazing.
So the number one conspiracy theory that I kind of think I believe it now, but we're not going to go too deep into it. But the conspiracy is that online poker is the reason that the United States were able to kill Osama bin Laden. And we only found them because one of his boys loved to play Poker Stars, back in the day when they were hiding in the caves and stuff. And they had all their internet connections up, and one of his top aides had to kill the time somehow while they were hiding out in the caves. So he fired up some Poker Stars and got his gamble on. And then once the Department of Justice, seized all the accounts on Black Friday, which you referenced earlier, they were able to, see all the locations of all of the players. And there was just a random few accounts out there in the middle of the desert in Iran or Iraq or wherever he was.
Gotta be him.
This seems kind of suspicious. Like, there's no players within 200 miles. Like, what's this person doing out there? And then sure enough, the intel and the CIA figure out that was Osama bin Laden playing online poker. And that's how we found him. So
I have
Poker Stars killed Osama.
And that is Talk about a bad beat, Brandon. You like that one? That was for a nil only because he's like, do your radio voice. And I was like, I don't have a radio voice. This is just me. But he feels like it's all taped. But that's kind of it. Talk about a bad beat.
I mean, imagine that. Imagine you fooled Interpol and the CIA.
The fucking guy's playing a $20 tournament, the Sunday Millions at Poker Stars. Binks a final table 6th place for 40 grand, and then everybody's happy as shit. And then next thing you know, fucking SEALs show up.
I mean, could you imagine just going and be like, Osama, dude, I got second in this thing. He's like, what do you need?
You got 30% of my action. You got half of my action. You're good.
We're going to send us a check.
We're partners. Fuck.
And the article literally says apparently the aide really like to come over to bin Laden's house and talk about profitable 4-betting ranges.
That's great. That's so dumb, but amazing. It's totally true. See, like that one's got to be true. Like I don't think any of these poker conspiracies are true at all or superstitions. They're just superstitions. Like I read
nobody would come up with this without there being a little bit of truth to it.
Sounds so out there that it's like, I kind of believe that one. I kind of believe that's how they got him. Like, we have nothing. Shit. We have no leads. Wait, hold on. Somebody just won 40 grand on Poker Stars in the middle of the desert? Who's playing in there? And his name is...
Come on, you can.
I'm trying. I can't think of anything. Oh.
I couldn't.
Oh, man.
I got came up with a few things, and they were...
Please... If you're watching this, hit us up on Twitter and let me know what you think Osama bin Laden's Poker Stars name was. I'll give away something great. If it's really good, I'll give away a main event seat into the World Series of Poker.
I couldn't come up with anything. I knew the numbers had to be 911.
Oh, no, I totally didn't think it. I wouldn't have gone there. I wouldn't have gone there.
Well, 911 for, emergency.
No, for sure. Yeah. Wow.
I know.
Yeah. USA sucks.
That's
9_11. Yeah. Jesus. I fully support everything in New York City. 9/11. It's not a joke, but this is where conspiracy theories take you. You never quite know.
You never quite know. And again, who's sitting at home saying, "I'm just going to put on the internet"? Like, who thinks that? Nobody just thinks of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, all conspiracies have to have a little bit of truth because somebody has to know something or see something. And whether or not that, like, the whole blown full thing is true, that, like, that's why they got them, who knows? But maybe, just maybe, there was, like, a location somewhere out there that, like, well, we already know that, but this confirms it. Or something, maybe just added a little morsel to the entire puzzle. It's just one piece, and maybe it's not the whole piece of the puzzle, but maybe there's something.
You'll never know. There.
There's something. So imagine that.
It's pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. That one really got me when you told me about that. I was super excited.
Right. I know we're sitting over here. We're talking about dealers. You're talking about shuffling. He's like, Osama bin Laden. What do you mean? I'm like,
just
dude.
ripping Osama bin Laden on me. That's how they caught him. It's pretty amazing. Well, good job if that's how it worked out. Poker Stars, way to help the world in general, make it a better place. Don't worry so much about poker conspiracy theories. Let us know if you think any of these could possibly be true. We are on Instagram and Twitter at The Overlay Pod. As always, come and see Brandon and I in an event near you in Chicago, or you'll see us in Vegas at some point this summer. We're getting close to that time frame of talking about going over the World Series of Poker schedule. We like to do that.
I'm going Father's Day weekend already. I know that.
There you go. We're going to talk about what events we may or may not play, what events we think are the best ones to play. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Series of Poker, the CSOP version there in the Chicagoland area with CCG Poker. And that's about it for the summer of podcasting with The Overlay. Brando, lead us out of here.
Farewell, all. Nothing's true except for Osama.
Oh, man.
Osama.
Super conspiracies.
Osama got Obama.
Thanks, everybody.
Farewell.